Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All of you. My name is Gulfarm, inshallah. And this is my blessed brother Majid, inshallah. So we'll be, inshallah, trying to facilitate throughout the retreat any announcements and things like that, inshallah. So firstly, I'd like to welcome all of you, alhamdulillah. This is actually a great favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon all of us, because out of the thousands and millions of billions of people all over the world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way really has selected us and given us this opportunity to be blessed with such an amazing retreat. Obviously when you go through it, you'll understand what I mean. So really from the depth of our hearts we should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this great blessing and allow us to actually benefit and really fully benefit from these retreats, inshallah. So there's a few things that I'll mention which are extremely important, alhamdulillah. So some of you may not have, but I think majority would have got the broadcast messages that we sent throughout the weeks once you registered. And the most important thing that was mentioned is that it's going to take 100% commitment from yourselves. So like the teacher mentioned, this is not like a part-time retreat where you come halfway, or you come halfway, you go halfway. To actually benefit fully from this retreat, you need to be here throughout the full period. And obviously, like it was mentioned in the messages, mentally prepare yourself. Like most of you probably did, take a few days off work, so you're actually really in a state where you can actually benefit fully from this retreat, alhamdulillah. And as this is not, an individual worship kind of retreat, it's all collective, it's very important, like it was emphasized again by the teacher, that you follow the schedule. Because whatever is the schedule, this is actually, a lot of brothers have put hard work into this and a lot of effort. So inshallah, for you to benefit from announced, schedule-wise, follow the schedule strictly. And the most important, like I said, if it's rest time, then rest. Otherwise, we will be sleeping throughout the sessions where it's important to intake. And because this is not a theoretical retreat where you're learning, this is actually a practical and tasting retreat. So it's not a place where you're going to ask questions about why and how and things like that. Obviously, there will be certain opportunities given relating to whatever sessions you are taught, and stick to these kind of things, inshallah. So alhamdulillah, inshallah, our blessed ustads, they'll go through the most important things after. So some just admin announcements. Our main amirs are probably not in the hall, they're busy facilitating for outside, but if by Nawaz or Brother Shaukat are here, if they aren't, inshallah, we'll introduce you after. They are our amirs of the Zawiyah and the center, inshallah. And also, as well as them, obviously there's the Khidmat team that are here to serve you, obviously ourselves and our teachers. We're all really here to serve you and benefit you as much as we can. If there's any requirements, any needs that you need to address, please do approach myself or the responsible amirs, and inshallah we'll try our best to facilitate whichever way we can, inshallah. But as you really can appreciate, mashallah, there'll be over 120-130 people here. So we'll try to address your needs and requirements as soon as we can, inshallah. But do bear with us, and most importantly, bear with each other. Because a lot of blessings, and most of the blessings actually come with the interaction between ourselves while we're staying in the masjid. So alhamdulillah, sometimes they're ups and downs, so try to overlook shortcomings and bear with each other, inshallah. There's more barakah in that. Most of you have been here before and know the layout of the masjid. For those who don't, inshallah, the main wuzu khana is through that back door there, and there's also another door that goes from the other side as well. So inshallah, that's the main wuzu khana. And obviously you must appreciate there's so many people, so try to time yourself in such a way that you can be prepared for the namaz and things in good time. So you're not running to the bathroom or the wuzu khana, 5 minutes before there's a queue. So time that correctly. If a person needs to do ghusl, the ghusl shower facilities are at the back through this main door. There's a double door at the back. There's also toilets there as well. So the facilities, whatever you need to do ghusl, you can use. Allah na kare, if in any case there is a need for us to evacuate the building for an emergency reason, fire, etc., the fire exits are labeled, inshallah. And one of the important things also, like the brothers have given you these name tags, please wear these at all times, inshallah. So one of the other reasons actually is not just for the health and safety and for us to know who's in the building and who's not about, because this is actually a closed session. It's not open to anybody to just walk in and out. So it's important that we know that the people who are actually sitting here, they have registered and they are actually part of the retreat. So to keep these on you at all times, inshallah. And if there is a need, like I said, the car park at the back, everybody make their way quickly to the car park area in an orderly manner, and you can get together there, inshallah, and we can go proceed with anything that needs doing then, inshallah. As you all received on the text, one very important thing, you might not be able to live without it for a few days, but that's what life's about. If you really come to attain this benefit, we're going to request that you hand in your mobile phones, because this is one of the biggest distractions of the world these days, inshallah. So what you do, inshallah, after our ustads go through their session, you'll be given a short break. Inshallah, the admin team will actually take your phones and place them in a secure place, and then there'll be a certain point in the day where you'll be given them just to check important messages. But alhamdulillah, last time many people, they actually said, don't give me the phone back, just give me when I'm leaving. So inshallah, do hand your phones in, and then inshallah a time will be allocated. And also these badge things, do actually return these as well when you leave. Jazakallah. The other thing is obviously because we had so many people, mashallah, that showed interest, and many of our brothers, especially locally, they've sacrificed for brothers from abroad and nationally, so we can actually benefit as many people as possible. But there's obviously limited spaces for sleeping and things like that. So we've requested the brothers who are local and to actually give space to yourselves, as they'll actually be going home to rest and they'll be returning at Zohr. But importantly, for those who have registered locally and are intending to do this, because this is a retreat of discipline, it's very important that you're back in the Zavia for 1:15. So we don't really want to turn somebody away, but it's all about discipline. And if we can discipline ourselves, inshallah, we'll benefit more. We have special arrangements, obviously, for guests who are from international countries like Morocco, America, and other places. And so there's certain areas which are allocated for the guests. So please give them their privacy. Like for example, the basement. The basement should only be used for those who need to access their luggage. So the wuzu facilities in the basement, and this is actually for the guests. The main facilities here for everybody else to use, inshallah. Even the curtain areas at in the upstairs, they're allocated for specific people. But inshallah, just before rest period, we'll try to mention which areas you'll be allocated for resting. Just bear with us at that time. Once you're in the first day, and then very easily, just stick to your position, and it'll be, so much easier, inshallah. And obviously, everybody was told to bring their bedding. So it's important that the bedding that is available upstairs, this is especially for guests, and we have other guests who we will need this bedding for. So please try not to use the bedding that's upstairs. If you have your own bedding, if for any reason you've not been able to approach myself, and I'll see what I can do for you, inshallah. So alhamdulillah, I think that's about everything covered, inshallah. Brother Majid, would you like to mention anything? No. So inshallah, now I'd like to introduce our honorable ustads, inshallah, and they'll enlighten us on how we're going to proceed with this spiritual program. So please could I request Ustad Dr. Shalom Saab and Ustad Usman and Ustad Sajid to come forward, inshallah. Jazakallah. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless all of us and allow us to do everything we do in these few days with ikhlas and accept whatever we do, inshallah. Jazakallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulih al-Kareem. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulih al-Kareem. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabiyya wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. MashaAllah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a very well known principle that Allah Azza wa Jal does not change the state of a person until they try to change themselves. Until they try to change their own state, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not change them. And the good news and congratulations to all of you who have come and those who are listening, brothers here, sisters at home. Congratulations to all of you, because by you coming here for these 3 days for the spiritual retreat, you are showing as a proof, as an evidence that you want to change. So that's why Mubarak, mashallah, that because of you coming and being here and trying, this is your evidence that you are trying to change your state, and then now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help will come. So that's a Mubarak and a congratulations immediately, because there are millions and billions of people outside and they are not here, or they are not trying to attain the spiritual openings, to see the barzakh, to see the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to see Jannah and Jahannam, to have a glimpse of them so that we can practice and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more. You see, why did Allah Azza wa Jal show the prophets and messengers? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala show them the akhirah and barzakh and all these different things? Because then when they came back to this world, in this dunya couldn't attract them. This dunya and this world and the materials of this world couldn't attract them and attach to their hearts. They were so attached to the akhirah and the hereafter. And by being so attached to the akhirah, they could sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice whatever was needed to save mankind and save humanity and take them to Jannah, because they believed in it with which yaqeen, which conviction? They had the highest level, but there is a level that we want to attain, which is called Ainul Yaqeen. Who can tell me what Ain refers to? Yes, brother. The eyes. That at least in this retreat, at least just to be able to see and witness, not even travel, not even experience, their levels beyond, but just to see, and to see a glimpse, so that if you know that, oh, I've seen Jannah, I've seen Jahannam, or I've seen a glimpse of it, or I got to see the blessed face of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, then hopefully that day will be your Laylatul Qadr. That day will be your day of change. That day will be your Eid. So you see, it's mentioned in many narrations as well, a person, when they see the Holy Prophet ﷺ, whether it be a dream or in the wakeful state, at that moment, just seeing the Holy Prophet ﷺ, all the minor sins become forgiven. Just seeing the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But does it mean that you're forgiven for life? Everything you do after? No. Then when a person sees the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the unveilings, rather a sin becomes like a double sin. So you should see it as a double-edged sword. As any sin can become a double sin, because you've seen the greatest miracle of Allah and you still deny. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Holy Quran to many of the people of the past? Allah said to the prophets to tell the people, I will send this miracle, they've asked, I will send it like manna wa salwa, the food from the heavens, and many other things. I will, and the she-camel of Sulaiman, of one of the prophets and messengers, there was a she-camel that was created in the mountains, and it was pregnant as well. This is what people, Hazrat Salih, people asked for this she-camel. That what a strange request they made. That the Prophet of Allah, if you can ask Allah, let the she-camel come out of this mountain, and a pregnant one. What a complicated request they asked, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it happen. And it was said to the prophets many times, alayhi, if after this miracle they see this and witness this, and then they still disobey, then warn them of punishment. This punishment will be coming. Tell them this punishment will be coming and there's no turning back. So even Hazrat Lut alayhi salam, the people of his time, other than his two blessed daughters, they were given the message and the guidance and the miracles, but then they still turned away. They followed their desires and they gave in. And then what happened? The punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came. So what this lesson shows, this is one of the greatest adab to realize on this first day, is just seeing the miracles and the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is very powerful for the right person, but for the wrong person it is detrimental. So who is this right person? Who is this wrong person? The right person, the one that benefits from the miracles, is the one who seeks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He wants Allah's pleasure. He wants Allah's closeness. Sincerity. So the one who is sincere in seeking Allah's pleasure, for them a miracle makes them learn and love and want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even more. But for the person who only wants to question and divert and object and these types of things, miracles for them, even they don't benefit. What do they say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Holy Quran that they say, oh, it was our eyes were, you did magic on our eyes. You deceived us. And these things. They saw miracles in front of them. The Prophet ﷺ pointed at the moon and it split in two. And people in Hindustan and India, they saw it. It's in their books. The moon split and it came back together. They saw that with their own eyes and they said, oh, it's trickery on our eyes. So those people, the hypocrites, miracles never benefit them. So in one sense, this is a miracle. This is a miracle. To see the barzakh and the unseen, because they're referred to as unseen, they're not meant to be seen. To see them and to witness them, to hear them, to communicate with them, to experience, that is a miracle. And sometimes there's many of us here, 130 people for the retreat. When something becomes common, people lose value. Well, let me tell you, is the sunnah common? Is it common? Can you go find Bukhari Sharif and any of the books all over the world and find the sunnah? Yes, it is. It is very common. The sunnah is very easy for you to find, but yet it is the most valuable thing on this earth. The sunnah is the Quran in manifest. It's manifested in physical form. The Holy Prophet ﷺ is the physical manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kalam and speech. So the sunnah is the most precious thing, but it is in abundance. Is oxygen precious? Would you say? Shall I take oxygen away from anyone for 3 minutes and you'll see how precious it is? Oxygen is precious. Without it, 3 minutes we can die, less for some. Is water precious? The things which are precious are in abundance. The things, the nafs or the normal type of person thinks, oh, the things which are not in abundance are the ones that are precious, like gold and jewels, things like this. No, the gold cannot do anything, it just sits there. So recognize this, that the things that are precious in life are available for everyone. And the sunnah and even witnessing the Holy Prophet ﷺ in this life is available for everyone, but it is very, very precious. Don't think that only the rare things are precious, rather the abundant things are precious. So these are just some opening words. I want to congratulate everybody, alhamdulillah, and welcome you. And however we can serve, inshallah, we will be here to serve. So inshallah, I'll now pass it over to Ustad Shahab and Ustad Sajid to mention a few words.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So as our Haji Gulfam Sahab mentioned earlier about adab and etiquettes, as well as Ustad Uthman, I believe every one of you have received a text which was stipulated the conditions to participating in this retreat. So you're already aware of some of the conditions that we have to uphold. Apart from the house rules which Haji Gulfam has mentioned, some of the more spiritual aspect which I'd like to remind and touch upon is that now that we are all here, alhamdulillah, it's a blessing, especially in the month of Ramadan. Today is Friday. What more can you ask from blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has facilitated? We just heard now after Jummah that one elderly person just passed away on this day. MashaAllah, may Allah ta'ala reward her and grant her Jannah. But we're still alive. Her journey has now come to an end today, and the hereafter has begun. For us, the world is still waiting for us. We can make amends, we can make the world so the journey to come in the hereafter, we can reap the benefit from it. So for that the moment of blessing itself, we should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Especially we sat in the masjid and we're remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one thing that you all should check yourself, is always good to check ourselves, is that our intention, that we sat here only for pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and learning and achieving some of the objectives of this retreat, which then actually helps us to attaining and achieving the overall objective, which is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I think it will be a very quick, good idea just to ask randomly brothers that, what have they got in mind when they registered and they want to achieve. So there's no right and wrong answer. This is your version, or this is your understanding, or this is what you want like you to achieve by end of this retreat. So if I can ask one of our brothers, inshallah, go around with the mic. You can put your hand up, or we can select someone as well. It's up to you. Your brother here, inshallah. Mention your name and then mention.
Assalamu alaikum. My name's Imran Hussain, and I decided just to come here so I can stay away from bad habits and trying to better myself for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for the sake of my family as well, inshallah.
Have you understood some of the things that we like to achieve in this retreat specifically?
Yes, I have.
Would you like to mention one or two? What have you understood in your own words? I know what you said is true, is good, mashallah. Yes, we all aim and strive to stay away from the disobedient and sins and so on, and want to achieve His closeness and His pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which are good. But specifically, you can learn some things, takeaways, you could say, from this retreat.
Yeah, get yourself educated.
Okay, good. Okay, mashallah. Thank you, exactly. Thanks. Anyone from here? Any brothers? Just put your hand up, inshallah. Brother Rafiu. Just briefly, inshallah, just mention so the others get opportunity to ask, mention as well.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Rafiul. I think this retreat is to do with spiritual openings and for us to get a taste of it or a small amount of it to see what it's like. And
okay, mashallah, that's good.
It might not be permanent, so I don't know.
Okay, that's mashallah good. Yes, it's one of the things that inshallah you'll learn, inshallah. I'll mention at the end as well. Okay, so that's good, mashallah. Anyone else? Brothers here, inshallah. Don't be shy. We're all brothers here in Deen. Inshallah.
Just Brother Abdullah.
I don't see him. Is he here?
Yeah.
Oh,
Assalamu alaikum. It's just a sort of regret for the last few years of not achieving or not being steadfast, and then hopefully today or this retreat will be like a doorway to more steadfastness, inshallah.
So I would say congratulations that you have this regret, because that regret has made you come here and to make change. So that's the thing about Tawbah and people who feel bad about their past life and sins. And people don't just stay there. They come unstuck and they don't move in any direction spiritually. They think, oh, there's such a great sin in my life. I'm such a big sinner. How can I, move and go close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And then they waste more time. But the best example is your example that, yes, you had your own, aspirations and you feel as though you've fallen short of that. But now you've done something about it, i.e. you've come and signed up to this retreat in a hope that by mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you can make that change in your life again. So that's good, mashallah. That in itself is a blessing, mashallah. Anyone else? Okay, let's move on this side then. I think there's more people here, so. Brother Shamrez, do you want to mention anything? Right, at the front here.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
I've intended to come here to increase my love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to identify any spiritual diseases I may have which are stopping me from progressing.
Okay. MashaAllah, these are some of the details you'll find out inshallah. But the main thing that you said, which is true, that everything that we do in this world, this fasting we're doing, coming to the masjid, going to Hajj, sacrifice, charity, being good to other people, looking after family, it's all geared towards this, that we want to live a life so Allah is happy and pleased. And if He's pleased and happy, then naturally He loves us. And then, then our love then becomes qualified as a result of that. So mashallah, it's good. MashaAllah. Anyone else from here? Brother Tawsif.
Assalamu alaikum. I think so. One of the things the teacher mentioned is around the prayer, and that for many of us, like myself, that it's like a burden. And you look forward to Taraweeh, and you think, oh, it's going to be difficult. So I'm looking forward to learning the Miraj in prayer and how to become more present in there.
That's an excellent example, Jazakallah, for that, because that's one of the things, one of the objectives you could say we learn is that how to have or pray, offer such salah that we're eager to or waiting to offer our Fajr, then our Zuhr, then our Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Taraweeh, and so on. So inshallah, by end of this retreat, if you're able to achieve this, then mashallah, you've reached a goal, mashallah. So that's good. That's a quite tangible, workable goal that you've set yourself. So that's good, mashallah. Anyone else? Brother Maruf? You can put your hand up, brother. It'll come on the mic, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. So Brother Maruf from Oldham. Just see and taste really and motivation.
MashaAllah, good. So that's good. That's a good answer as well. So so all the we're gonna inshallah continue. If anyone else are dying to say anything, please put your hand up. If not, we'll move on. MashaAllah. Everyone will get opportunity at some point, inshallah, in this retreat where you can get a chance to give your feedback, your feelings, your experiences as well. So inshallah, avail those opportunities as well. So I think most have the good understanding and goal, but specifically from this retreat, as our brother Tasif has mentioned, and some other brothers like Brother Maruf, is that as well as all these goals that you mentioned, which are good, and this is like a side benefit they will achieve, and working towards the overall aim, which is the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, in this retreat by Monday night or so on, you should be able to, at your own level, you'll find out there are different levels as well. At your own level, you should be able to see something of the unseen world and taste. Or feel in your presence, you will feel it and taste it. Sometimes feeling is even higher than even seeing. Because when you see, when they like we say, I have a gut instinct, I know it, this is going to happen. Sometimes that's stronger than even seeing something. So inshallah, you will have this inshallah experience at whatever level. So when you go through the processes, inshallah, and that leads to the next point which I'd like to mention. So as you can see, that is very important that everyone is 100% committed to the point, to the level where when the time is given for rest, you avail the opportunity to rest. When it's time to do the collective gatherings or speech or a bayan, whatever we do, that you participate fully focused and concentrated. In fact, that is one of the reasons why the phones are requested to be handed in. I was going to say confiscated, but handed in is probably better. So, so that you're not distracted. Yes, you want to do your Facebook post or Instagram or whatever. I don't know that. I know Facebook. Alhamdulillah. So our media team are doing a 24-hour recording. Inshallah, I can get the live link after. You can share with your family and friends as well. So it's important that you're fully engaged. I mean, the time is rest is given, do rest. Then you think, oh, I'm okay now. I can have a chat for half an hour with my friend or whatever. And then time of waking up call, you feel tired. And then a session or two later, you're falling asleep. And then you say, oh, brother, I'm tired. I can't follow this because you've not availed the opportunity when it was given. So please do so. And this retreat is actually all the way till Tuesday morning, Fajr time. So it's not a dropping session. Oh, I'll go out, do something else, I'll do some work and come back in. That's why in advance the announcement being made. You should probably make an arrangement at home or whatever so that you're free here. So that's very important. I don't want to carry on too much because obviously you've got many things to do. But one thing I do mention is that this retreat, it is not a lecture-based retreat. Although we will cover some aspect so that, like the brother have said, you need to know what you're doing. If you do not know what you're doing, then you cannot do. Simple as that. Just for that purpose, just as a pointer, there will be some lecture or interactive, like you could say, not even a lecture, but like a workshop type, where our ustad inshallah will go through, get you engaged. This is more so that you can analyze and assess yourself. So on that basis, we will do some presentations and so on, so that you're up to speed what we're going to do inshallah. But the main theme is practice, amal, muraqabah, deep thinking, for example, we're going to do. Thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the whole process will be explained to you. So remember, this is not even a session where you discover the evidences from Quran and Sunnah and the wisdom behind why this is happening. That's a completely separate retreat and workshop which will inshallah in the future will happen. If you're interested, you can sign up to that and learn A to Z of all the details, from textual details and evidences. This is basically, you agree to it, you know this is truth, I want to now taste it and traverse. So this is for that kind of gathering. So if you do ask, oh brother, where's the evidence? We might not entertain that question during the course of it. So I thought I'd just tell you that now from the onset. Okay, and very important, I think this is probably most important in this regard, is that many people, mashallah, have many wealth of background and experiences, Islamically and otherwise. Maybe many people actually go to different gatherings and so on, which are all good and all time, alhamdulillah, you should continue. But the fact that because you've signed up to actually have some kind of experience in this retreat, it is said that absolutely you have to just clear your mind and heart and leave any ideas or anything that you heard about the spiritual unveilings. Whatever you learned or you have from different organizations or different religions for that matter for some people, leave everything to one side. Because if you do not leave, then what's going to happen is as soon as you hear something, you'll start comparing. No, well, I've learned this and I've learned that. Where does it match? Then what happens is that could become a blockage to really experience, see, and taste. So we say any preconceived ideas and whatever else, you should leave to one side. The fact is we're here, we want to experience, we want to see and taste. That shows that we have not done so yet from different places that we go to or different affiliations that we have. So therefore then, the main person who actually will help us spiritually and take us and make us taste and see is our teacher, Hazrat Shaykh Ahmad Dabbagh, who was just here after at Jummah Salah and after that as well. Spiritually, they are the expert in this field, and inshallah will help you to reach your goal in this retreat. So therefore, you should see that being that person as your teacher who will help you. This is not very like a conflicted concept. Whenever you go, for example, let's say many people want to sign up, they become first aider. You might be already like expert in your field, a health and safety officer. He's now going to become a A&E first aider at his workplace. For that 3-day course he does, he submits to the instructors. The instructor goes, okay, you lie down, he lies down on the floor. Tells him to stand up, he stands up. He goes, put your one hand out like this, and he does all that. Then you go to recovery position, and all these things you do. You don't say, well, hold on, I'm a health and safety officer. Why do I listen to you? If that's the case, then, well, you signed up to it. for that period, you listen to the teacher at hand. So similar concept here, you want to experience it spiritually. So you have to now submit and accept the spiritual teacher here, who will then, inshallah, take you to that level, take you to that experience. So very simple as that. It's nothing ambiguous about it. So that's very important. And throughout the sessions and throughout the presentation, this will be fed in as well, because this is the one key aspect which is needed in order to experience. You need someone who's expert to take you to that journey. Without that, then it's not possible. So inshallah, Jazakallah for listening to me, and I'll pass on to our Ustad Sajid. He'll give some reminders before we finish, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. Everybody looks so serious. Yeah? MashaAllah. Yes, it is serious, and there's many conditions and rules that the brothers have set. But no, everything is engineered to reach your objective. Now the objectives are clear. The objective, level 1 of this retreat, is to taste, feel, experience of the spiritual world. Why? Because we want our nafs to taste that, so it becomes a motivation when we come back to this world. There's nothing more that we would want for everybody when they leave here. This becomes a life-changing experience. And yes, it can be. It can be. That's why everything the brothers are doing, facilitating, from the ustads sitting next to me here, from the administration, from the people who will be providing your food, your sleep, everything is catered for. You've got nothing to worry about, other than submit yourself, fully immerse in the program that's been given under the guidance of Shaykh Ahmad Dabag. Now, like the both ustads have mentioned, I'm just really re-emphasizing some of the things here. And sometimes we have a negative attitude. How is this possible? Can I leave my other teachers? These are ajib things. Nobody says when they go to university, can I leave my A-level teacher? Ajib. Ajib. So fully submitting, what does that mean? That means follow the teachings here. Clear your mind, become present, fully immerse in the program. So we want to you, everybody, one of you can and will, inshallah, with Allah's help, everything is possible. Everything is possible. All we need to do is intend. So some brothers have asked, I'm a very sinful person, how can I be in the spiritual realm in the presence of such blessed personalities? Even to be present with a teacher spiritually, I'm not worthy. That's true. It is hard. It is impossible. We are not worthy. That's true. But when the help of Allah comes, the impossible is possible. Now, having respect for the teachers that you've had at nursery, A-level, and the emotional attachment, the adabs, those skills are very important to bring over here to the teacher and the spiritual master, Shaykh Ahmad Dabag. Those people who have that skill, they benefit immensely because they know the value of a teacher. They know the value of a teacher and a guide. That's one of the keys. I'm saying this up front. The reason I'm saying this up front is because this is an intensive, accelerated spiritual retreat. There's nothing like this all around the world. Not that I've seen. That's why we have brothers from, I think it's Denmark here, and even USA. USA, you are welcome. Okay? MashaAllah. So there's a reason why each and every one has come from around the world to something unique, and we want you not just to have a life-changing experience here, but be motivated enough to share this with others. Share this with others. For those who share, Allah blesses them more and more. And that's how these brothers have been trained. They have their day jobs. Dr. Shah and Ustad Usman, they're professional teachers. entrepreneurs, they're giving their time and their money to help others because that's how they've been trained by our blessed teacher. Taste something of the next world, benefit from it, then benefit others. We'll give an opportunity for you brothers, any questions or anything you don't understand, so please raise your hands. It's very important, the objectives are set, and anything that is on your mind, please ask.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Permission to ask a question, please, or to make a point. In order to, at the beginning of these veilings, is it important to have enough rest and not to be tired? Can this be a barrier?
Yes, it can. This is why the program, this is why right at the beginning all the brothers have emphasized following the program. Rest when the time is rest, be compassionate on each other, and fully rest. Will there be plenty of time for rest? There'll be plenty of time to have your iftari and your sari. And there's the way the brothers have been taught is to go at the level of the weakest. So we're gonna, when it's not here, we're gonna, there's no piety in sleeping less. In fact, sleeping less here makes the job of the stars much more difficult. We want you alert, fully rested, so we can accelerate this process for you.
Okay. I just wanted to make a point, reference to sleep. I've been on hundreds of retreats, alhamdulillah, in different madhabs. And this is a message to the youth especially. Please, when it's time for sleep, please sleep. Okay, because wallahi, you don't know when you're disturbing somebody, especially the elders, and they need their rest. Just that 1, 2, 3, people talking.
I think you set me up to give your lecture, haven't you?
No, Habibi, no,
That's
wallahi.
how I feel.
No, because I want to benefit.
I know, inshallah.
100 and 200%.
What the brother is saying is,
and we are fasting, and you know, some of us, we need sleep. Some people might need only 4 hours, 6 hours, whatever. You know, please, when the time for sleeping, sleep. Shukrullah, alhamdulillah.
So alhamdulillah, jazakallah brother for mentioning that. I'm actually really happy that you mentioned it, because even in the recent night where people stayed over from last night, there were complaints regarding this. So those people who were, you should know this very well, very, very clearly, that the Holy Prophet ﷺ mentioned in a hadith that if a person who, this is the meaning of it, a person who hurts my ummati is as though he's hurt me. And a person who's hurt me is as though he's trying, no one can hurt Allah, it's as though he's trying to hurt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the one who helps my ummati is as though he's helped me, and the one who's helped me is as though he's trying to help Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah does not need help. What it means is that that person is doing a service and Allah will be pleased. So if you become an obstacle for other people in this retreat, then that itself is going to stop you from, never mind being a blockage, it will be a blockage 100%, it will be a blockage, but it won't only be a blockage, it will be sadly sinful as well. So it will, rather than just block you, it will take you away. This is one important thing to know as a principle, is you never ever ever stay still on your spiritual journey. You never stay still. Like sinking quicksand, you're either going down, 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 or you're either coming up, but you never stay. If you stay still, you go down. There's a way to get out, but you either go up or you go down. Similarly, spiritual journey, you're either going up or you're going down. There's no staying still. So if a person is causing discomfort to other people, then their journey is starting to go down. And if they ask, oh, why am I not opening and so on, we might ask them this question: have you been talking while other people have been sleeping? Yes, I have. Well, then there you go. There's one reason. So they say even from last night, and last night is meant to be people who are aware of this matter. Before you think of yourself, you should always be thinking of the person next to you. The thought of myself, my sleep should never be first, should be the other person. And the thought of have they got a seat? Have they got a place to sleep? Have they got food? Have they got the samosa at iftari time? Not me. So ask yourself how much preference you give and ponder upon it throughout these 4 days, because the Holy Prophet also mentioned that you know a person in 3 times. 3 times you really get to know the person. When you travel with them, when you do business transaction with them, and what's the third one? When you live with them. Well, what are you all doing here today? You're going to be living with each other. So your habits, good and bad, will come out, and people will see them and they'll be affected by them. So try to, as a bare minimum, not let your bad habits affect the other people, and save them from that, because that will stop you from benefiting more. So please bear that in mind. Inshallah, the admin brothers will remind brothers that when the lights are off, that is the time to sleep. Very important. In this hall here, upstairs, and in the basement downstairs. When the lights are turned off, a fixed time, I'm sure it will be mentioned later. At that moment, there should be no talking in that room. Everyone should go to sleep. And if there's talking, then you should consider, I am violating the rights of the other people. I shouldn't expect any openings. And there's no one to blame but oneself then. So please bear that in mind. Jazakallah, brother, for bringing that up as well. So schedule-wise, there's another question, Brother Aziz?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have a question and a short comment, if I may, please. The question was, you mentioned the objective of the retreat is to see and taste, or to experience and taste. Now, I understand the experience and the seeing aspect. When you say taste, just a bit of clarity as to what you mean by that, please.
So, for example, if the snake comes and bites you, that's a taste. If you remember from last experience. No, seriously. Because I remember you just said that last time. So really, tasting is quite natural. When you actually see a scene, part of tasting could be smell as well. They smell the fragrance of it. Like you go to Masjid Nabawi, for example, and you see the beautiful aroma around it. So that's part of your senses that experiences. Or sometimes, like you hear, inshallah you will do that. Sometimes you hear you receive special gifts like dates or milk or something, and as brothers do mention from time to time, and they drink it and they actually taste it at that level. Obviously, it's not like literally like this, for example. It's not at that level, but it's a level of in a spiritual sense. So this thing could happen. Just to give you an example of it, just make you understand. And also, more I could say, metaphorically speaking, taste means that, for example, if you go and let's say you have an experience where you saw Bayt al-Maqdis and Masjid al-Aqsa, and you become very happy and joyous. So that's I can say metaphorically speaking, you've tasted something, you've enjoyed something, you took something out of that. Tasting is not literally taste, as in what you put in your tongue. It's what the enjoyment that you have, or the joyous occasion that you feel by being in that scenario or in that place. So those kind of experiences as well is considered taste, as well as obviously seeing itself. One thing is just flashes, you see something, okay, there. One thing is really you seeing to the extent is very much clear, and maybe you can even interact, or you can see like even the color in its own light and the sun shining and so on, and describe it very, very vividly. So that is in itself is a taste. You can see the environment at that moment where you are. An example of what you said last time, if you remember, you got frightened by this. If you remember the snake you saw, it was quite strong, wasn't it, for you? In fact, actually, one question you asked that, what if you get scared, I believe, or how do you deal with it? I said, don't worry, brothers will help you out, inshallah. Okay, exactly.
Sorry, I had a short comment, if I may, as well, please. Is that what I wanted to mention, remind myself and others as well, is that the ustads here, are here for our khidman, for our benefit, and you're not being paid, as I understand it. It's not a paid job that you do. and you're not machines as well. So you're not just doing the talks here, you're preparing material, you're seeing people privately, and doing 10 other tasks in the background. So sometimes, you know, maybe myself or others have felt that or feel that we're not being 100% served, or maybe 100% of our requirements are not met. But just as a reminder for myself really, and for others who are inshallah here, for everybody, that there are 130 people here, and even if the ustads were supposed to see people for 10 minutes, 15 minutes each, that will take up maybe the whole weekend. So just to bear that in mind, maybe for all of ourselves, and to bear that in mind, inshallah. So to be a little patient if we don't always get what we want immediately, inshallah.
One thing I would say that inshallah we try to be accommodating and approachable and smiling. The only time we'll be really annoyed if you come out with the money and give it to us. We will not take it, rather we'll be really annoyed at you. So rather than paying for free or not, we'll be annoyed if you offer anything like this. That's strictly we're doing for sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So rather, if you do have extra money, inshallah, give it to charities. There are many charities out there, they need the money, inshallah. Many people out there who deserve it. So, jazakallah yata. Thanks for that encouragement as well. Ji? Okay. You go charity of your own? Okay, mashallah.
Is there any other questions? Or Basraj?
Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to ask, is it the same rules as itikaf? So are we allowed to go in like the car park for fresh air, or is that not allowed?
Depends how good you are here. No, really, inshallah, if you do have to go just for refreshing, then just let one of the admin member know, and if he's happy with you, then he might just say you can go out for a few minutes, inshallah.
But it is better, you know, if you can avoid the world completely, because like in itikaf, that's the 10-day sunnat full itikaf, but those rules, there are other khalwats as well that people do. This one we're doing together, but there is a 40-day khalwat that people have done and do 40 days, not 10, not 3 days, 40 days. And then after that, once a month, one full day. And those adabs, some of them apply here, and the more you do them, the more you benefit. So a few I'll mention, but these are not compulsory. It's not part of Sharia that is compulsory, but they're nafal beneficial. So one of them is that you constantly, as much as possible, whenever you're not doing anything or listening or in any session, but you're on your own, like walking from here to there, there's two things which you should be reciting, one or the other, either Durud Sharif or Astaghfar, either Durud Sharif and Salam or Astaghfar. It could be with the tongue, try to do it with the tongue, or with the heart as a minimum. So those two things. Try always to be in the state of wudu. So if you lose wudu, try to refresh it and always be in the state of wudu. That's another. And then always try to smell nice, especially when there's other people around. Try always to have attar on or spray on, whichever, and smell nice. Not so much that the other person becomes affected by it, but enough that alhamdulillah it smells nice. This is another one. Try always to smell nice. And so these are just a few of them. Always try as much as possible to be in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, constantly. So with everything that you do, we're going to be practicing different muraqabahs and munajats, but with everything that you do constantly, the heart should be speaking to Allah. So this is a constant muraqabah, a meditation that you can be in, that my heart is always speaking to Allah. One other thing that applies when you're with other people, it doesn't apply when you're on your own much, but it applies when you're with other people, is very, very, very important, is not to look at the faults of others, only look at the good things in them. So this is a muraqabah which is not just a muraqabah, it's a quality. It's a quality that you need to attain, and this is a time to practice it. So in these next 3 days, I probably won't mention this again, but if you practice it, you will benefit much more. That you, whenever you see faults in anyone, any shape or form, then you don't look at their faults, you look at the good things. And I'll give you an example of someone I met a long time ago, and he said he was with a group that travels the world and does dawah, And he told us that he'd been doing this for 13 years. 13 years. And he said to me that the scholars that do speeches, when I go to these places, I can see the faults in them. He said this. I can see the faults in scholars and pious people. Now, because we didn't have this close relationship, it wasn't my place to say this to him, what I'm going to say to you now. But what he said there really indicated this. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said in hadith, a believer is a mirror to another believer. What that means is, if you see bad in someone else, it's not bad in them, it's actually bad in you, if you're looking for it. And if you see good in other people, it's not that it's good in them, but it's that it's good in you, because you're seeing the positive, you're looking for the positive, you're not looking for the bad. Now, what to say about this person? In pious people, is it easy to find bad things in them and evil traits and mistakes? Is it easy? No. What that says is he's looking for their faults. Out of 100%, 99 is good. He's looking for the one bad. What does that say about him? What does that say? So just imagine that someone who's been with sheikhs and so on for 13 years, but he had a big sign of arrogance in there. And that's a very dangerous matter. But this one thing I'm telling you is a solution for even that. And that is, look only at the good things amongst everyone and don't look at the faults. Because if you start looking at the faults, it's only showing the faults within oneself. And this refers to looking for them. If you see them, the example of that is, there's someone's getting changed in the room. There's peeping Tom climbing the tree to look. And the other example is, the person comes in the middle of the street and takes clothes off. So which example am I referring to? I'm referring to that, don't be the peeping Tom, you climb the tree and look through the window. Don't do that. If someone reveals their faults in front of you, they start shouting and swearing or something like this. They reveal their faults and you see it. You're not liable then. You've not looked for their faults. They've shown it. So that's the difference. You're not looking for people's faults. You are overlooking them. But if they reveal it and show it, then that's, you just turn away. And this is the sunnah and the correct way as well. So if we can practice these things, inshallah, we'll benefit more. And so on that note, inshallah, anything else you'd like to mention?
No, that's fine.
So inshallah, we'll have just a very short break while we prepare presentation. And 2-3 minutes, let's say 3 minutes, just stretch. And then we'll begin, inshallah, our session. If anyone wants to refresh, we'll do anything they can do. But let's just have a very short break. And we'll tell you when we'll begin, inshallah. Jazakallah, subhanakallah. Yeah, that's fine. How are you, Brother Siraj? You okay? Yeah, alhamdulillah, okay, thank you. Yeah, it's that one, yep.
Check that it opens.
Yeah. A nice laptop. Very fast. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, it's working. Ansar gave us his. That's the rotation one, isn't it? Yeah. That's fine.
Using a PDF?
I'm going to show that at the end. I just wanted it up. It's perfect, thank you.
Should be say that. कैसे?
Brother Gufan, come over again.
Brothers, please, can I have your attention? You've gone over your 3 minutes, inshallah. Jazakallah. So if I could kindly request the brothers to come forward. Right. What we'll try to do, inshallah, so people don't say I'm too cold. Those who don't prefer to be cool, yeah. So the uncool guys can sit on this side. Yeah? So inshallah we'll try to keep this off. You got to appreciate there's a lot of people and sometimes it can get humid and sweaty. So that AC will remain on. We'll try to keep on adjusting it so you don't get too cold, inshallah. So those who do feel cold, feel free to come on this side. And the brothers on the chairs, please, they remain at the back of the hall, because otherwise you're blocking the view of the person who might be sitting behind you, inshallah. Because now, yeah, so the important thing is that you're all actually, so for these kind of sessions, sit in the semicircle, just actually face the screens. So inshallah, in orderly manner, stay in your rows as though you're in the safs for prayer, in an orderly manner, straight rows, and then inshallah. Gigi, and also the brothers who are upstairs, if you could quickly make your way downstairs, so we can begin with the session. Jazakallah.
So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulih al-Kareem. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan Nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin. So, mashallah, the title here, which you see in front of you, says the 4 preconditions to spiritual openings. So we'll be there inshallah in a second, but 4 major preconditions to spiritual openings. If we want them, the spiritual openings, grand opening, then these are 4 conditions that need to be met first. But today I want you to tell me the difference. Who can tell me? Hand up. Can I see who can tell me?
Sure, if you could kindly
I just want to see who knows it, but I'm not asking you. It's
Okay.
not rhetorical, but thank you.
Yeah.
So only 2-3 people had their hand up. So that's fine. So this is the reason why this precondition is so important, that if and now your body is non-existence. Now you even see your parents as children, your parents as babies, and even now they are non-existent. And now your sight is going outside of the earth, and you're looking at the earth from a space view, and you're seeing the earth rewind back in time. And now you're seeing all of the universe and the stars and the galaxies, everything being pulled back to one point. Everything is being sucked in to one center. The stars, the galaxies, even the sun, everything. You can see it and feel it. Everything is as though being sucked into the palm of your hand. And now you have entered a different world where this physical world is no longer in existence. Now you have come to the world called the Al-Mi'arwah, the world of spirits. And you will come to the beginning of this time when your spirit was first created. A voice from the heavens is saying to all the spirits, these are spirits only, spiritual beings, not this physical earth realm, but the heavenly realm. And the voice is saying, I want to give an amana, a trust. Whoever obeys me with this trust, I will give them such a reward. I have never given this reward to anyone before. But whoever takes it and disobeys me, I will punish them with such a punishment no one has ever been punished before. You are seeing the mountains and the skies. These are the spirits of these creations, birds and angels and all sorts of different creations hearing this announcement. They are shaking, they are crying, they are weeping. The angels holding the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are shaking, and the arsh of Allah is shaking. Your body is shaking. But the human beings and the jinnat come forward and say, "Oh Allah, we will take it." And the rest of creation is still shaking, still weeping. Now you forward in time and you find yourself on a plain desert type land, plain land, Madani Hashar, the plain of Hashar. There is no one amongst the rest of creation except the spirit of the human beings and the jinnat. You are puzzled. You are looking to your left and right. What is going on? What is going on? You are thinking. And a voice representing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and when this voice speaks, everyone becomes still. Pin drop silence. You are as though frozen in time. And the voice says to you, "Am I not your Lord?" And your heart replies, "Yes, O Allah, you certainly are our Lord." Your hands are tied together, one over another, to take the promise. Your head is bowed down, and you are begging before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying that yes, O Allah, you are my Lord, I give you my life, I am yours. And a voice says to you that we shall see. Now time is rushing forward. Time is going forward, not back anymore. You see everything on your left and right passing by you with super speed. The earth is, the universe is created, the stars are created. They are expanding in incredibly fast speed. You see the sun being formed, giving out light, the earth. You see water appearing upon the earth and land being created. And now you see an enormous trumpet in the sky. And the trumpet blows, and all of the planets and the stars, they begin to disintegrate. The atoms at the most smallest levels, they fall apart. The earth becomes ashes. The sun loses its light and dies and becomes like ashes. And now we enter another world, the world of Barzakh, the world of unveiling, the grave world. Here we enter the grave to see this world. A grave is in front of you, on the ground. You fall in. You actually fall, your body falls inside the grave, and a whole other world opens. You have a special protection surrounding you, a bubble that is transparent and see-through, from head to toe, left, right, forward and back. But coming at you from every direction are different animals and insects. You see a snake trying to wrap its tail and its body around your neck, but it cannot bite you. You are protected. You see enormous spiders running all around your body, but they cannot bite you. You cannot feel them, but you can see them. One is upon your face, right in front of you. You close your eyes, but even if you close your eyes, you still see them. You see scorpions trying to stab you. And now you see dragon in front of you, enormous in size, and it's about to breathe fire upon you. But the spiritual protection around you, the shield, is still present, and it will not break. The Mashayikh are helping you and protecting you all along the way. Now the shield destroys all of these animals. A light comes out of the shield and they are all disintegrated. And instead, in this grave world, a wonderful garden begins to appear. The two blessed angels come to you, Munkar and Nakir, and the blessed ones, Mubashir and Bashir, with good news. With smiles and joy and gifts they bring for you. They open the window, and through this window you can see your eternal resting place. You can see a palace, but you cannot taste or feel the comfort of this palace. It is your future home. rivers all around the palace. The window is opening so that the entire wall is now the window. You can see the hurs in this palace calling you, and the servants calling you, saying, "Oh, our master, come to us, come to us." And these blessed angels are serving you. You are sitting on a throne, and they are carrying your throne for you, as servants do. Now a voice is saying, "Now leave the grave world and witness the day of judgment." So the grave door above you opens. It opens, and you are pulled up. You fall to the ground. Your body is almost clothless. There are other openings, other people, but no one is bothered about the other people. Everyone is thinking, where am I? Where am I? What is happening to me? And all around you, all you can see are more and more and more people rising from their graves. You look up and you see the sun so hot, so close, but you are not burning. You are sweating incredibly from head to toe. The heat is so hard to tolerate. It is so bright you cannot even see. You do not know where to go or what to do. And now you realize that you are the size of an ant, and there are other creations, other people about to step upon you. And a voice is saying that you will be an ant in this world of the day of judgment because you treated other people like ants in your world. And now you witness a special light that is like a path searching for you. It is searching for other people. People may be in this gathering, but it is searching for you. And the light has found you. It is wrapping itself around you. This is the intercession. It is protecting you. It is covering you and clothing you. And it is preventing the heat from hurting you and burning you. And now this special light, it wrapped itself around you, is pulling you, and with super speed you are traveling where you do not know, but you are traveling and traveling away from the pain and the heat of the sun. You see the pious and righteous people in a distance, under the shade, where they are rejoicing, and from a far distance they are able to search for their followers, for their beloved students. You are being pulled to them. It is as though they have sent a rope for you and they are pulling you from a far distance. And now you have been caught in the blessed hands of your master, our teacher. Now you are looking in their company. You are stood beside them, but you are looking at the plain of the day of judgment, the plain of Hashar. You see the disbelievers at a distance. You see enormous dragons of fire. These are really like angels, but angels of punishment, sending breaths of fire upon these people. But this enormous dragon is nothing compared to the dragon that is in the distance. Your eyes have locked itself upon Jahannam. In the very far distance, the animal that is Jahannam, enormous in size, and the eyes of Jahannam have now locked onto the disbelievers in this gathering. There are angels that are chained, the arms, the legs of Jahannam. It is like a wild animal. But Jahannam almost breaks this chains of these people, breaks the chains, and it jumps and pounces so fast that it is just an inch away from the disbelievers and the sinful. You are being told, go inside, but take our protection with you. Jahannam opens its mouth, such a size that cannot be described, that planets would fit inside the size of this mouth. Its teeth so sharp, every single part of its teeth is a cell of punishment, but we are going straight down in the throat. There is a protective shield around us, even more stronger and powerful than before. Circle and sphere, and yet our teacher is with us. You are witnessing one of the disbelievers being thrown head first in Jahannam. The head first, and in front of you all you can see is a blazing fire. A fire which is so fierce and so angry. The person is now fallen in lava, magma, but they are not dying. You are seeing them, you are looking into their eyes, their bodies. They are black skeletons, but they are screaming. They are saying, death, 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 but no death comes to them. You see their skin rejuvenate and come back to life upon them. And then the blazing fire comes once again, and their skin melts completely away back to the black skeleton. A voice is saying to you, is this the place, your final destination? Is this the place that you want to reach? This is no place to live. So go you from here. This angel of punishment is telling you to leave, for this is not a place for you to be. So now we have left this place. The spiritual protection is still with us. And in the sky, far above, in the distance, you see two enormous doors in the clouds. And to these doors there is a staircase. And the staircase itself is so wonderful, so beautiful. It is more beautiful than everything else in the scenery that can be seen. Beneath you, an animal, like a horse with wings, appears and says to you, mount upon me. I am your good deeds. I will take you. You mount upon the horse and you begin to fly and you see Jahannam beneath you, eating and taking in and swallowing the people on the plain of Hashr. But you are flying and flying above the fire beneath you towards these wonderful, enormous doors. Now you come to them. The ground is like clouds. Even the ground your feet stands upon, the ground massages your feet and gives you comfort. The door is enormous in size, from the ground to the, as far as the eye can see, to the height. You cannot see the end of these doors. There are jewels, diamonds, rubies, sparkles of decoration in these doors that you do not even want to open them. In every jewel that you look inside, you can see the life, an incident of the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. You have the choice to go inside the diamond and to relive that moment of the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. But you are told, this day will come, but this day is not today. Still, you do not even want to go inside. You want to look at all the different diamonds, the different parts of the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, so you can relive them with him. You will have this choice one day, inshallah, but it is not today. If you enter this stone, you will live the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ as though you are beside him. And this is the reason why many people will spend 40 years just outside the doors of Jannah. Now the doors are beginning to open and the light is emanating from inside, but you are being pulled back. And back and back. Time is returning back into the past. Everything again is rewinding and passing by you so fast. The universe, the trumpet, is as though it's blown again and everything has come back to existence. The planets, the stars, the heavens. You are standing upon the earth. You are finding this country, the UK, Bolton, Medina Mosque. And when you are ready, you can slowly begin to open your eyes. So this was the journey of mankind, which you see, inshallah, on the screen in front of you, but with experience, with traveling it or imagining it with thought, rather than seeing the presentation always. So, alhamdulillah, if anyone wants to mention or share how was their thought process with just the journey of man, especially brothers international or from far, if you can share, were you able to follow the thought and the imagination that we were speaking?
Just raise your hands, inshallah, and please wait for the mic, and then you can speak into the mic.
And especially brothers who are also new the first time that they've come to this retreat. So let's see.
Sorry, which brother?
Were you able to follow the journey of mankind, the diagrams you've seen before, what with the thought of being there?
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. My mind was engrossed in dunya.
Mind was engrossed whereabouts in dunya?
In my dunya.
In your world.
Yeah, and I tried to listen to you, concentrate, and I was in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
And that experience is how I am in Deen, in and out, in and out, in and out. That's just a, how can you say, what's the word?
Not committed?
Not, it's like how I've been for the last 20 years, in and out of Deen, in and out, in and out. So I was concentrating with you, then not with you, fading in, fading out.
So the solution for that is the lack of focus, isn't it? So the solution when a person has a lack of focus is everything that you do in your 24 hours a day, whatever you're doing, focus and think only of that. That's the principle. So when you're eating, today, iftari time, don't think about anything else. Think about the samosa and the chawal and the fruits. Think about the food. When you're then in the bathroom as well, it sounds strange, but when a person's in the bathroom, you think about even that. Why? Because Allah SWT has created some creations in such a way they don't even need to go to the bathroom. Those creations, their excretion is done automatically, like some fish and some other cells and so on. Their excretion is automatic. They don't even have to, it doesn't take any time. So, and some they do once every so often, it's not very frequent. Human beings, 3, 4, 5 times a day. So why has Allah SWT created us like that? The reason is so we ponder upon our weakness and then we become humbled by it. If you don't ponder upon how often we have to go to the bathroom, how can you ever benefit from going to the bathroom? Your benefit is only physical but no spiritual. Imagine, this is why it's mentioned the Prophet ﷺ there, going to the bathroom is better than the ibadat of any normal person, because they're going with this type of mindset. Go to the bathroom and even benefit. So then when you are with your wife or husband, think of them. Don't think of anyone else. Don't be on the phone. When you are with the friends, only they exist. Think of them. When you're exercising, think of exercise, nothing else. And when you are doing salah, then you will find I can focus in salah because I focus everywhere else. So whatever you're doing, think about that act, focus on that, and the rest of the life and world, ignore that. This is one of the key ways to attain focus in life, in everything, inshallah. So that will help you, inshallah. So anybody else? How was anyone else's experience? Were you able to follow the thought level? Just
sorry, you want to mention, yeah? Okay, I'll bring the mic there. Okay.
So mentioning and sharing your experiences is vital, because there is 130 people here, and one-to-one with these 100 and so people will be very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Many of your questions you can ask openly.
You can see.
The more you do, the better.
Yeah, so when you mentioned hell, I got goosebumps all over my body and everything.
Oh, mashallah. So that's good. So were you able to follow the thoughts and the
Yeah, I tried to visualize myself. Some felt external, some felt self-generated. So I don't know.
What do you mean by self-generated?
Like it was my own thought. I had to fill it. I had to fill in the gaps myself, and some felt like they just came naturally. So I don't know.
Okay, when you say they came naturally, what?
Like there were images, but I didn't think of it much. It just.
Can you describe?
So like when you said with Hosasab, that just came straight away. I just imagined him straight away. With the dragons and stuff, I had to go into my cartoon stuff that I seen in TV, that type of thing.
Okay.
I had to pull it out of my head, type
Right.
thing. Yeah.
MashaAllah, but you were able to follow just on the thought level or the imagination.
Yeah.
So very good, MashaAllah. That's all I'm asking. So anybody else? Yes, brother Siraj.
It was like for me a presentation was going on. I'm sorry.
For you, it was like a presentation was going on.
It was literally like a presentation, but
Hi.
sometimes it was imagery, sometimes it was like a video. So depending on certain things which I found easier, that would become more like a video, which were harder would become imagery. And certain things, when you said the Burak, I could feel the skin of the Burak when you said you were sat on it. So there was certain things which, at certain points it was easy, at certain points it was difficult. But certain things which I thought my mind couldn't comprehend, it would somehow comprehend it. Like when you said...
Can everyone hear at the back? Yes?
When you said go inside to Jahannam, I didn't know how that would happen, but it was like a lift of light, and we were all inside of it with Hazrat Saab, and the mouth opened and we went past the teeth, and it was like a museum kind of an experience. So we were going past like layers of fire, and then when you were saying the person's skeleton was coming black, I could see it like in a sea of fire burning. And one thing which you said about one thing which come before you said was in regards to the when you said the stars and the earth were being pulled all into one vacuum, I could see a hand pulling it, and then you mentioned about the palm. So first I thought that was just my imagination, but then when you mentioned it, I thought that was actually there.
So you saw it before it was mentioned?
Yeah, but that was only one incident. So it was different at different points.
Yeah, mashallah. So very good. It was mashallah good experience with Osman. So it shows that you're able to definitely follow on thought level and imagination level.
Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah, when you said we're going backwards in time, I've seen everything that we're going backwards. I've seen my childhood, seen my parents' childhood as well. I also seen the Alme Arwa. We was there. Seen a lot of souls of people, of myself. Heard a voice representing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, asking Allah, am I not your Lord? Seen a few of the creations, seen the mountains and other creations crying their souls. Also, with the Jahannam, I seen the hellfire. I seen it roaring. I heard the roar myself in my ears. It's very quite powerful, very scary. Yeah, we were shaking. We was with Hazrat Saab. Hazrat Saab were perfectly fine, but I was shaking. Few other people were shaking. I seen the disbelievers getting not punished but shouted at and stuff. And then we went inside Jahannam. I seen the teeth. The teeth had teeth on them. I seen on Jahannam's teeth. I seen teeth on the teeth, very sharp, as we were going in. And then the other stuff as well.
So you were able to follow the thought as well as imagination, and things happened beyond your control. So mashallah, that's very good. Imagine many of you don't know what Lataif are yet. You've not heard of them and seen them. But even without Lataif, there are some people traveling but following on thought level. First, what does thought level mean? Thought level just means there's no image but just the word. So if I say Day of Judgment, the thought of the Day of Judgment is in your mind now. So you're thinking that it's the Day of Judgment just with the thought, no image. Second level is then with imagination, that you're imagining it, it's in your control, you're imagining it, but you're seeing images. You're seeing images. Now the third level is the one that's not in your control. First two are in your control. Thought in your control. Imagination in your control. Third one is where you spiritually travel. That's not in your control. And that's the easiest sign to know, is there any spiritual traveling taking place? That is where things happen beyond your control. Or in the case of Brother Siraj, he sees things before even the speaker is mentioning them. That shows he's also there. So maybe for some of you it was only thought, but for some they were actually traveling and going there as well. So Jazakallah, inshallah. And now, does anybody feel they need a break? There? So put your hand up if you feel you need a break. Let me see. 5-minute break. Not many. Put your hand up if you don't need a break. Majority. So those few people who need a break, if you would like to refresh your wudu, you can do that. There was only 3 or so, inshallah. You can do that. But if you don't need the break, the majority don't need a break, then inshallah I'll carry on. But if you feel tired, then it's fine for you to go and refresh and come back or sit at the back or take a nap, inshallah. So those few. So don't let yourself struggle so much, inshallah. You can come back. So now, inshallah, that was the preconditions, because without the journey of mankind and knowing that, there's nowhere we can travel. How do we know where to travel? How do we know which places to go and to see? So the correct knowledge needs to be present. And rather than seeing it in presentation, alhamdulillah, many of you got to experience it instead. So, but now there are even more conditions before the spiritual openings can even begin. Before they can even begin, these need to be present. So what are these? And I'm only going to mention them briefly. These 4 can be done today. All 4 of them, you will do them today, inshallah. So when you see this, don't see this as something that, oh, it's knowledge for some other day. It's for today. This is for today, these 4. So the wheel of Tawbah, this is your plane to Allah. You see, many of you were flying and traveling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeing the Day of Judgment and so on. Your plane is representing your journey in your spiritual body. It's your spiritual body. So the wheel, without the wheel, you cannot take off. Which wheel is this? The wheel of Tawbah. Tawbah has many conditions, which we don't have time to go through them today. But one of the conditions is this, that you make an intention not to commit that sin again. Whatever the sin was, disobedience was, I make strong intention, I'm not going back. It doesn't mean you will never go back. It means I intend not to go back to it. I intend. Can you do that now? Can everyone put their hand up and tell me, can you make an intention? Can I see everyone's hands up that you make an intention, I make an intention, I am not going to go back to any of those major or minor sins. You can say it. I make intention not to go back to any major or minor sins. Alhamdulillah. So do you see how easy the condition of Tawbah is? So it's only an intention, and that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to see from you. And there are other conditions as well. But the second precondition for spiritual openings is this one. These are the minor conditions. The major conditions are coming next. The mujahada, the striving. Now, what was the first thing I said before when the 3 of us were on stage? Can anyone remember the very first thing I said about all of you here today? Congratulations. Yes. Why congratulations? What have you done? Yes, you've sacrificed. So, mashallah, you've sacrificed. You've come from wherever you were. You've done the mujahada, the striving to be here. So that says that, alhamdulillah, you've already showing signs that you have fulfilled this condition. You are mujahids, alhamdulillah. You are striving because you are sacrificing. So striving just means to do something which is difficult, but I'm willing to go through the difficulty to do it, to attain it. The next one, you can do this today. Learn the basic beliefs and the aqidah. Aqidah just means the basic beliefs. Without that, your plane cannot fly. One wing is missing, the wing of beliefs. And alhamdulillah, what we just went through the journey of man was majority of the beliefs. The 7 articles of faith, Allah, His angels, books, messengers, fate, divine decree, hereafter, and so on. So that was hereafter. And that part of your belief has already been rectified. So, but the other 6 that I've just mentioned, you will need to go through them. Make sure that you have the basic beliefs, and you do not need to become a scholar for that. Next one, the simple do's and don'ts. No need to become scholar. Do's and don'ts, how to fast. Are we all fasting in here today? Then I hope, alhamdulillah, we are. If we're all fasting, we should know the breakers of fast, the farz of fast, the necessary parts of fast, and even the sunnats of fast. We all going to pray Asr today? Then I hope we all know the farz of fast and of salah and the breakers of salah. So the simple do's and don'ts, we should know them. If we don't know them, then this wheel. Can you imagine the person who wants to see the Holy Prophet ﷺ, wants to see the Prophet ﷺ, but doesn't know let's say, the 3 farz of ghusl, for example. They're in the state of janabat, they need ghusl, but they want to see the Prophet ﷺ. What do you think? Is the person going to be blessed with the vision of the Prophet ﷺ if they're in the state of janabat and they don't know? No, of course not. So a person needs to know these basic things, and they are not difficult. You can learn them in 1 hour, 2 hours, alhamdulillah. And if you need to learn them, even in this retreat, you can be given the necessary knowledge. So who can tell me one person, what were the 4? Someone from, yes, brother. Mujahada, excellent. So we have 1. Mujahada is, what's the meaning of it in English? Striving, excellent. Brother Ismail. Tawbah in English? Yeah, repentance, mashallah. So we have 2. Third, any order? Brother Mansoor. Fiqh, which is simple do's and don'ts. And the 4th one? Have we not had Aqidah? No, Aqidah. And Aqidah is? Simple beliefs, mashallah. Those 4, do you all agree you can do them today? Inshallah. So those are the 4 preconditions they're the 4 minor preconditions. And now what we're going to look at is the 4 major preconditions. The 4 major preconditions to what? To spiritual openings. Without these, one cannot traverse that path. It will block you at some point or another. So the first precondition, the first major one, is the purification of the 7 organs. The first, and in the plain diagram, this is represented by the what? By the doors, mashallah, by the doors. So these are the 7. These are your doors. What happens to that plane if one door opens? What? Someone said wind comes in. What happens? It will start going down. Anyone know the reason why? Something to do with the pressure inside outside is dramatically different. All this pressure comes in and forces the plane down. It forces the plane down because the pressure is so high. So one door, can you imagine? One tongue, eyes, ears, hands, feet. The pressure of the sins coming through that organ, what will that do to your spiritual openings? If you can imagine, your spiritual openings are like the plane traveling in the sky. But one door of tongue is opened, sins are coming through there. Disobedience of Allah, backbiting, slander is coming through there. That pressure coming in from that tongue is going to force the plane down, and you could say goodbye to spiritual openings. So this is the first major precondition. These are the 7. The tongue, eyes, ears, feet, hands, and the stomach, and the modesty parts. So this is, I'm going to briefly, very, very quickly show you. In the hadith, the Holy Prophet also mentioned in the nearest meaning that when a believer commits a sin, a black spot falls on his heart. Is this the physical heart? No, it's the spiritual heart. The spiritual heart. When he or she seeks forgiveness from the sin, it's wiped away and it's cleaned. And that's tawbah. Tawbah can take it away. But when anyone who's wearing white, you're wearing white, many of us wearing white, if you had one black spot upon the white jubba chaddar, it's noticeable. But if you wear black, one little bit of salan and so on, it's not noticeable. So what does that mean? The person whose heart is like this, say this one, for example, one sin on them, they feel the effect of it. But a person whose heart is like this, many, 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 many sins, when they commit one sin, oh, it's just another sin, it's all right, I don't mind, I'm not bothered. They're committing the sin and they don't feel bothered by it. So the Holy Prophet ﷺ mentioned that the sign of a believer is that when he sins, it feels like a mountain upon his shoulders, a mountain. But what is the example of the hypocrite? I'll give you an example. They do this. What are they doing? Something's there. What are they doing? It's a fly. Just a little fly on their nose. They're trying to get rid of it. That's the example of a hypocrite. So this person who has many, many, many sins, when they commit another sin, oh, it's just another fly. Oh, it's just another fly. I don't mind. The fly doesn't ruin your holiday, does it? When you go on holiday, you get mosquito bites. It doesn't ruin your holiday. You still go there. You could just cover, put the cream on. So for this person, they see their sins as little mosquitoes. But for this person, their sins are like mountains upon their shoulders. And it's the same thing. So this is a sign that me and you can take about ourselves. So what is the solution? The solution is always that you start with one organ, one. Never ever all 7 at the same time. Because has anyone who's done a degree in this, in any type, any course, can you put your hand up if you've done any course in dunya? Whether college, degree, anything. Many of us not done any courses. Or how about high school? High school's a course. Can I see all hands? MashaAllah. So in your school, college, wherever you've done or work anywhere, do they ever expect you to learn everything in one day? No. Do they expect you to attain all the skills and abilities to do your job in one day or even 1 week or even 1 month? No. They give you a training program. They take you through a process gradually, step by step, to get to where you need to be so you can do the job. So in the exact same way, one organ of the body, a person stops the sins of one organ. If you want to become the one who spiritually interacts with the Holy Prophet ﷺ, sits with him, speaks to him, eats with him, if you want to become that person, well then this tongue needs to be purified. Because the Holy Prophet ﷺ, in the life of his blessed life, a person with a gold ring came once, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ turned away, then turned the other way, and turned away. And then the person realized it was because of the gold ring. What to say about the one who's backbiting? Do you know what backbiting is in the spiritual world? It's mentioned in the Holy Quran that it is as though you have eaten the dead flesh of your brother. Your brother's died and you're cutting him up and eating his flesh. That's the person who backbites, is doing this. Allah knows best what punishment this person might get. Maybe it will be this. So this is if you want to be the one who witnesses and speaks to the Holy Prophet ﷺ, this is a condition. The tongue needs to become purified. And how to do that is as simple as this. Monitor your daily life. You do not have to live in this mosque for 30 days. You do not need to do that. You go back into your normal life, go to school, college, marry, do work, do everything, but stop the sins of the tongue in your daily life. No one says leave the world. We say leave the world for 3 days, come here to learn the spiritual opening. But you don't have to leave the world permanently. So in your daily life, the person, 9 days they abstain, 10th day they do, in this case, they've ridiculed someone. They've made them feel small. They put a cross, they start again. Next attempt, they reach 17 days, then they backbite, they put a cross, they start again. Third attempt, they reach 30 days. Unless you monitor your tongue, you will never know what your tongue has said. But do you know that the angels are writing down everything that you say? If you, next time practice this, get your phone out or someone else's phone, your husband, wife's phone, and imagine how carrying your wife's phone around, and you're going to press the record button. Everywhere I go throughout the whole day, I'm going to press record so my wife can hear everything I say, everything. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to give it to her. She's going to listen to everything I said. Do you think that then you might think twice about what you said in that day? And this is your wife, or for the wives, their husbands. So what to say? There is a red record button being pressed, and that is here and here, all day long. So next time, before you say something, think, Kiraman Katibin, are you pressing record? Yes, they are. So think before we speak. Then, once a person does the first organ, the tongue in this case, then they can practice the next one. So do we have a voice recording for the ears? Do we in the world, do we? What our ears heard? Well, we have earphones, but we don't have any recording thing to record what we heard. But the spiritual world is much, much, much more advanced than this physical world. And Kiraman Katibin know that as well. They know what you've heard. And they know what you've seen. Is there any recording device to record what I've seen? Maybe we're coming to there with Google glasses. So Google knows exactly what you've seen as well. Have you seen them yet? Those glasses that you can wear, and everything. Then you can see this is the shop, this is the way, this is the path, like Google Maps. So the physical world is advancing, but the spiritual world is already there. So the Kiram and Katibin are writing down even the things that you've seen, even the things that you've heard, even the things that you've done with the hands. It never mind the angels writing them down, your hand itself is recording it. On the Day of Judgment, people will come and say, oh Allah, I didn't do that sin. They'll lie and say, oh Allah, I didn't do that. And Allah Azza wa Jalla will say to them, okay, you didn't. Tongue be silent, hands speak. Then the hands begin to speak, oh Allah, he did this, oh Allah, he did this. And the tongue and the eyes begin to speak. Imagine this little flesh of tongue Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, has the power to speak. But do you not think Allah Azza wa Jalla can also give the eyes the power to speak, the ears the power to speak if He wills? Look at the tongue, what is it? Little flesh. So do you not think Allah can do that for the ears? Of course He can. So that day your organs even will speak, either for you or against you. So here the tongue, the next one, the ears and the eyes, one by one a person does all 7 organs until the entire heart becomes purified like this. So imagine this room, there's window there, door there, door there, window here, there's 5, 7 doors and windows. If there was filth coming in this room from all 7 doors, can you close all of them at the same time? No. But can you close one, then the next, then the next, then the next? Yes, you can do that. But will there still be filth left in the room after you've done the 7? Yes, there will. There will be filth left. Now it's time to rectify and remove that filth. And that's where the second precondition is the purification of the mind. Second precondition to spiritual openings, and only very, very, very briefly I'm going to mention this. Very briefly. What I mentioned before is one of the levels of the mind, that only see good in people and never look at the bad in them. If you can't do that, those people who mention other people's faults without any reason, I'm saying this because it's already happened in this retreat. So those who mention other people's faults without even, there's no reason to mention them, no benefit, then realize that that ability is not in you yet. You've not practiced it, that skill. So in the mind level, this is the, now let me give you an example why this is important. Can you imagine the Holy Prophet ﷺ is next to a person, is next to you. But in your mind is dunya and money all day long, and how to get more houses or how to get more cars, how to become famous and how to become strong. All you're ever thinking about is this life of this world and how to get better and better and better. Or even your thought is always, how can I be the best, and put all them down. And imagine the Prophet ﷺ is next to you, and you everything in your mind is like a blank, is a screen in front of him. He can see everything. Do you think that he ﷺ will reveal himself to you like that, with that mind? No. Until when will he reveal himself to you? When? Can someone tell me when? Yes, brother. And what does purify the mind actually mean? Good, but you are right. What does it mean to purify the mind? Abstain from negative thoughts, yes. But what does it mean? Imagine the Holy Prophet ﷺ is in front of you. What does he want to see in you? I'll give you a clue. A mirror. What does he want to see in you? Yes, brother Tafadhal. Yes, so mashallah, he wants to see his own reflection in you. He wants to see himself in you. When that is in you, when you are his reflection, you are following his way, even with your mind and your heart and your body, then he will, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, this is my ummati, I want to see him and I see him, but I want him to see me. That's when you will be opened. So this is a precondition. Purify the mind means think the way the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught. And if you do that, then inshallah, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam will show himself to you. But can you imagine the one with evil thoughts? There's nothing wrong with evil thoughts. They come. Remember, there's 3 things not to do. I've mentioned this before. with the evil thoughts. What are the 3 things not to do? So this is the evil thought here. This evil thought comes from shaitan or nafs, wherever. What are the 3 things not to do? Never mind what to do. What are the 3 things not to do? Let me put your hand up and let me choose you. Yes, you can give. I want to see more hands. What are 3 things not to do? Come on, Brother Usman. Just tell me one, and then Brother. Doesn't matter.
When the thought comes, don't dwell on it and overthink on it.
Good, mashallah. So don't entertain it. Good. Yourself? Same one. So we have one, Brother Shaban, over here. 3 things not to do. So if you don't know what to avoid, how can you avoid them?
Don't fight it.
Yes, good. So don't fight it. Fighting evil thought is like the dog barking at you and you bark back at it. It will only bark more. Okay, and the 3rd one not to do, the worst one. What is that? It's worse than shaitan. Yes, brother. Here. That's the next level. We're just talking the things not to do. Things not to do. But good try. Anyone else? That would be the same as fighting it or entertaining it. Brother behind you. So don't fight it means, let's say evil thought comes in my mind now of, let's say, an mahram, or I want to listen to music. So the thought comes, I want to listen to music. So to not fight it means, or to fight it, if you were to fight it means, music, no, I don't want to listen to music. I like that song, but I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not going to listen to it. Yeah, that's a nice song, but I can't listen to it. That's my past. This is fighting it. All these types of thoughts, you're dwelling upon it. Although you're fighting it, you don't want to do it. You're battling, but that's still fighting. And what does it do? Fighting it just makes you entertain it. It makes you give in eventually. So the thing to do will come shortly, I will tell you that. What's the 3rd thing not to do? See how important these things are. Not that one. Yes. Go on, Brother Ibrahim. No. So these things, you should write them down, because these are pearls of guidance, some of these things. 2, 3 things easy to remember. Yes, Brother Shafiq. Exactly, mashallah, jazakallah. So not to bring it. If you bring it, can you imagine shaitan is stood here, okay? So shaitan is stood here, and he's thinking, I'm going to whisper, watch this program, listen to this music, do this, do that. But now shaitan is stood there, and I'm thinking, I'm going to watch that program, I'm going to listen to that music, I'm going to do this, I'm going to scratch that person's car, I'm going to, throw something in their house, whatever it is that I can't think of anything to hurt someone, whatever it is to hurt somebody, I'm going to grab that person's phone, send a message to someone else and cause havoc between them. Shaitan is thinking, oh, he's a good disciple, I don't need to do anything for him, he's very good, mashallah. So shaitan is thinking, he doesn't need to whisper to you anymore, because you're bringing the evil thought yourself. So bringing the evil thought yourself is the worst thing you could do, but then you shouldn't bring it, shouldn't fight it, shouldn't entertain it. So what are the 2 things to do? The 2 only things to do with the evil thought. And that is coming here. You see, when you fight it, entertain it, this happens. The thought becomes stronger, overwhelming. It becomes so overwhelming that at that point when the mind is darkened, your mind and your body, every part of you is saying, there's no escape now, you have to do it. You have to do it. It's overpowering you. There is still a solution. There's no excuse. Even at that stage, there are solutions. But that mind is telling the person, oh, we have to do it now. Whatever the desire or fulfillment is. But there is a solution. And what is that solution? Who can tell me? What are the 2 things you should do, brothers? Yes, so ignore it, which also means what? Divert. So you divert your attention away. This is the most important thing, that you divert your attention away from the evil thought. What does that mean? I'll give you an example. I want you all to imagine a monkey. Okay? So all of you imagine a monkey, and the monkey is climbing up a tree. There's bananas. The monkey grabs the bananas, starts eating the bananas. And you see it, the monkey's looking at you thinking, why are you looking at me eating a banana? Let me eat my banana in peace. Okay, so the monkey is doing that. Now I want you to imagine a tree, and the tree is very, very, very vast and big and huge, and there are all sorts of different fruits, and your favorite fruit is growing from this tree. My favorite is mango, your favorite pineapple, or any other favorite fruit are hanging. The fruits now are cutting themselves, the skin is falling off, and it's cutting itself in pieces, and they're coming to you on a plate in front of you, and you're eating them, and you're enjoying it. Okay, so it's not physical food, you're fasting, so spiritual food. Now, during the imagination of the tree, who remembered the monkey? Did anybody remember the monkey when we were talking about the tree? Anyone? No. So that's diverting your attention. So when we say divert your attention, if the monkey is the shaitanic whisper, the tree is the thought of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or the hereafter, or anything good. All you have to do, think of something else and immerse yourself in that, and the thought of the evil thought will disappear. Does that make sense? So this is to show you that there are practical ways to purify, to reflect your mind in the reflection of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is a way. If you want that, then there is a way. And all of you being here shows you want that. You do want that. And eventually your mind, for it to reflect, resemble the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it will become like this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, their blessed names permanently in your mind and heart. When you become like this, your mind is reflecting the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's blessed mind, copying him, thinking the way he thought. How did he think? One example is, well, Hazrat Sahib mentioned yesterday, iftari time, he's not thinking about has he got food to eat. He's thinking about the ummah, have they got food to eat. He's not thinking, there's the food, I want that. He's thinking, I want them to have that. So his thought is always, I want the others to have and the others to benefit. He becomes more happy when someone else receives than even when he receives. He becomes more sad when you're in danger and in pain than even when he's in pain. So that is how his thought level is. And if you begin to think like that, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ sees that in you, then inshallah that's the second major precondition to spiritual openings. So remind me, who can tell me the four preconditions, the four minor preconditions? I'm going to choose someone now. So can I see everyone's name badges like this? And I'm going to choose people that I've not met before. So if I've met you, you're lucky. So someone I've not met before, let's see. So, and I'd like to know where you're from as well. Uncle, Khadim Hussain? Excellent, mashallah, mujahada, striving. So that's first one. Still keep your name badges. Another person, brother there. Brother, what's your name? Yusuf from Woking, mashallah. Brother, can you tell us another minor precondition?
Minor, assalamu alaikum. Minor precondition is fiqh, tawbah, and fiqh, tawbah, and akida.
Yeah, very good, mashallah.
And the fourth one is.
So we've had akida, we've had mujahada, we've had, what other one did you say?
Fiqh, tawbah, mujahada.
I think you've got them all.
Yeah.
Yes, actually you've got them all. Four. So akida, the beliefs, fiqh, do's and don'ts, tawbah, repentance, and the mujahada, the striving. Excellent. And what was the first major obstacle to spiritual openings? Name badges? Brother here on the right. Yes. And then I'm going to ask people at the back over there. So, brother, can you remember the first major? And what was your name? Brother Kabir from?
Bolton. First major. It's not coming to my mind.
Okay, that's fine. So mind stage is important. At least you got the mind stage. No. Okay, so anyone can help. Brother Kabir, that's around this area, the first major precondition. Brother, your name? Mansoor from Oxford. First major precondition.
Purification of the organs, 7 organs.
Excellent. Can you remember the 7 organs?
Eyes, ears, hands, feet, and the private parts.
Yeah, that's 5. Any others? What are the 2 left? To see who was listening. Brother. Next to you. Anyone next to you? The 2 that brothers missed.
Hand, feet, stomach and feet.
Stomach and
feet.
Did you mention feet? Yeah. Okay, so 1 more. So we've got hands, eyes, ears. I'll just say them all because I can't remember which one he's not mentioned now. Eyes, ears, tongue. So to start from the head, eyes, ears, tongue, hands, feet, stomach, and the modesty. So those are the 7. So you can go from top 1. Excellent. And the second major precondition, brother, can you choose someone? Can I see your name badges? So yes, brother here in the green turban, mashallah. Can you tell us what was the second major precondition? Yeah. No. At the back on the chair. Yeah, I said I was going to the back. You forgot? Okay, so another brother to help. Oh, we had it here, mashallah, brother. Forgot your name. What's your name, brother? I forgot your name. Yes. So you say it louder, brother.
Purification of the mind.
Yes, mashallah. Purification of the mind. So this is the summary so far. So now, is everyone with us where we are? There's not much to go, inshallah. Third major precondition is the purification of the heart. Now, in your plane journey, this is example of the seats. Would you like to go inside a plane which looks beautiful on the outside, but is hideous and filthy and dirty and stinky on the inside? No, nobody would. Would you like to marry the most beautiful or handsome person in the world, but with the most terrible character? The worst character in the world? No. You probably prefer the other way around. The most hideous person, but the most beautiful character. Because the one with the most beautiful character becomes beautiful to you. And the one with the most, even the most beautiful person with the worst character, they become ugly to you. Yeah. So this is an interesting thing that happens with time. So some of the beautiful qualities, this is all I'm going to mention, is there are good qualities, there are bad qualities in the heart. They live in the heart, they reside. And they have a battle between them. There's, what's the opposite of, let's say, sincerity? What's the opposite of sincerity? Who can tell me? Showing off, ostentation, showing off. So sincerity is in there, ostentation's in there. They cannot both be in there at the same time. It's either one or the other, and they are battling. But if you grow one of them, the other starts to disappear and fades away. So another example, humbleness. What's the opposite of humbleness? Say it louder. Arrogance. Humbleness is to think lowly of yourself, that I'm the worst one here. I know all my faults. How many faults of yours do we know? But some people we've met the first day, I don't know any faults of yours. And other people that we've known, maybe 1, maybe 2. My faults, I know all of them. All of them. And if I was to compare myself with yourself, I can only compare based upon the facts that I know. So I know my millions of sins. Yours I know 1 or 2. So in that respect, who is better? It will always be the case the other person is better. And if I assume you have sins, that itself is a sin. To assume the other person has many more sins, it's a sin itself because you're assuming negative of them. So imagine that's a form of humbleness. Arrogance, what's that? To think, oh, I am the better one, they are all worse than me. And this is the arrogance. So humbleness and arrogance, they cannot live together at the same time. They are battling. And which one you feed, there's a Roman teaching, they say, 2 wolves. Whichever wolf that you feed is the wolf that becomes the king, the stronger one. So you have to feed the wolf of piety these wonderful qualities. If you feed them, grow them, they will survive. But if you feed these evil qualities, they survive and they will overpower the good ones. It's your choice. If you want to have arrogance or humbleness, it's your choice. If you want to have jealousy, And the opposite of jealousy, who can tell me opposite of jealousy? Doesn't really have a word in English. Jealousy is, what is jealousy? Who can tell me? What is jealousy? It's like envy. Envy can be a good thing in English. It's not necessarily bad, but jealousy is bad. So envy is only one level. Jealousy has two levels. Envy is where I want what he has. You have a nice car. I like that car. That's just envy. Jealousy is where I like what he has. I want it, but I don't want him to have it. That's jealousy. So that's like hatred. That is like a form of hatred. Hatred is where you dislike this person to an extreme level. And when you dislike them to an extreme level, you want bad for them. And that's a form of hatred. That's why hatred. But jealousy is, I want what they have, but I don't want them to have it. Envy was only, I want what they have. So envy isn't necessarily a bad thing. So opposite of jealousy then. What's the opposite of jealousy? Yes, I want good for this person. Loving for your brother what you love for yourself. The famous hadith that you cannot be a perfect believer until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. And brother refers to mankind, brothers and sisters. So that's the opposite of jealousy. Which one you feed is up to you. Do you feed yourself or do you feed the other person? So now imagine this. This is the state of the heart of a person who's done the first, second preconditions of spiritual openings. But the third precondition of purifying their soul they've not done. Now imagine again the Prophet ﷺ is sat next to them and you're saying, Allahumma ya Rabbi, or this dua, oh Allah, show me the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and so on. Or you're trying to get spiritual openings. But the Prophet ﷺ is looking at you and seeing in you arrogance, that you think highly of yourself but lowly of everyone else. Or he sees in you showing off, ostentation, no sincerity. Do you think that he ﷺ will show himself? No. So, but now imagine he sees in the person this, they're purifying and fighting their soul so that, or their heart so that they can purify it. And the Holy Prophet ﷺ sees his own reflection in you. Then what do you think will happen? When he sees his own reflection in you, he will say and will think, I see this person, now I want him to see me. I want him to see me. So this is the third precondition, major precondition. And at that point, do you know what happens at that point? At that point, the person is actually purified because there's no more filth in them. If I had a bottle, I would show you the example of this is that you have a bottle, but it's got filth in it, dirty water, dirty mud and all sorts. What you have done up to the third precondition is you've emptied it and you've cleaned it out, but it's empty, empty. You can't drink from an empty bottle because there's nothing in it. You need to fill it up. So the fourth precondition is that you fill it up with the enlightenment, with the closeness, with the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the love of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and their presence. That's what you fill it up with, two things. You fill it with love and you fill it with their presence. Then when the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam looks at you and sees this person has purified their 7 organs, his hands reveal my hands, his eyes reveal my eyes or resemble my eyes, his ears resemble my ears, his mind resembles my mind, his heart resembles my heart, and even his spirit, his soul is in the presence of Allah like mine, and he's thinking of me and he loves me. Then the Prophet ﷺ will have no reason other than to reveal himself to this person and want to and love them selflessly. He already loves the ummah who are sinful. Can you imagine his love for the ummah who are following him like that level? How much will he want to be with them and show them and teach them? This is the fourth precondition. The two main things of enlightenment are to love the Holy Prophet ﷺ more than you love yourself. It's mentioned in the hadith that you cannot be a perfect believer until you love me more than your parents, your children, your wealth, and all mankind. This is where you become that person. You haven't seen him yet, you haven't seen anything, but you become that person. If you ask me, would I rather see the Prophet ﷺ or would I rather be that person? What do you think the answer would be? Be that person. Because to be loved by the Prophet ﷺ or to love the Prophet ﷺ. To be loved by him at this level is what you want to attain. You can love him, we all love him, but to be loved by him like that, that's something else. There are many who can see, but the love is not, the love of the Prophet ﷺ is not at that level. They've seen him, but the love he has for them is not of this level because they're not doing his work. They're not in his footsteps as they should be, but rather there might be guidance given to them, admonition, helping them go further. But can you imagine the person who's done this, the body, the mind, the heart, the spirit, what guidance is left for that person other than to take them higher and higher and higher? So this, after that begins, what you've come here for begins after that. It begins after that. And that is then finally to meet the Holy Prophet ﷺ spiritually and be with him, live this life with him, sit with him, eat with him. Eat with him means you eat, but you in the spiritual world it's as though you're eating with him. And his life becomes the control tower by which you live your life. So, and who takes you there on the plane? Who takes you there? You cannot go on that path on your own. This, the fourth stage especially, fourth precondition, you cannot travel on your own. It's a journey which is not known to these eyes, but to a different eye. So you need a master of that field. Like you had a master for Aqidah, for fiqh, or for physics, or for maths, or for engineering, or for science, or car wash, or whatever you do, you in here, you had someone to teach you that. If you have a business, you have a business advisor. Whatever you've done, you've had someone to teach you, take you that path. And maybe when you didn't, that's when you failed. So those business owners who failed, ask yourself, did you have guidance? Did you have a business owner that was guiding you? Maybe that was the reason. So similarly, the one who doesn't have the teacher in this path, they are likely to fail. Those who do will follow their footsteps and their benefit. And at that point, you can attain and reach the 4 wonderful objectives. Now, I won't go through these in great detail, but they are mentioned there. And these are the objectives of those 4 preconditions. These 4 objectives are meant to be reached. These are your certificate. Imagine like a degree. 4 years you do this degree. At the end you get a piece of paper, certificate saying you've attained this. That's your certificate. You give preference to Allah 24 hours a day with your body, with your mind, with your heart. You see, it only says give preference to Allah, but it means 24 hours a day with your body and your mind and your heart and your soul and even the nafs. If those all 4 or 5 things are not there and it's not 24 hours a day, you don't have that. That's your certificate. It's not a piece of paper, it's a person that you become. Then the second objective you've attained. You prefer the Holy Prophet ﷺ morning and night, 24 hours a day, with your body, your mind, your heart, and your soul, and the nafs. Simple example, easy example. Before sleeping, it's sunnah to do fresh wudu. You have the choice, my nafs is saying sleep, 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 and sunnah is saying do fresh wudu. Which do you choose? The one that you choose shows who you prefer. So, if you prefer the Holy Prophet ﷺ, you choose the wudu, even though the nafs says, no, let's just sleep. But if you choose the sleep and don't do the fresh wudu, then you know you've chosen that. No one can tell you otherwise, but you know what you've chosen. So, you become the person who prefers the Prophet ﷺ 24 hours a day, even on your mind level and heart level. Like, I give you an example. There's a person comes in the room, you don't get on. You don't get on with them. So you want to think bad of them because you don't get on. Now, the sunnah is think good of them, don't think bad of them. See good in them, don't see the bad. Do you choose the Prophet ﷺ sunnah, his way and him by thinking good of them and spreading good for them, spreading good, or do you choose bad, spread bad, say bad things? So whichever you do, then you've chosen. You've chosen Allah and His Messenger, or you've chosen your nafs and so on. So the evidence, there are evidences in front of you. And the final 2 is you are compassionate on creation, that you give the creation more than their rights. Compassion on creation means that you fulfill their rights, but you give them even more. And sometimes you waive your rights. You see, the best husband-wife relationship is where one of them is saying, imagine one of the worst ones is where husband is saying, my rights, my rights. Wife is saying, my rights, my rights. The best one is the opposite. Husband is saying, I only want to fulfill your rights. Wife is saying, I only want to fulfill your rights. They only want to help each other. They never think of their own rights. They always think of the other. Can you imagine? That's a spiral upward relationship. What to say about compassion upon the rest of creation and that type of relationship? And that's just the one husband and wife. Then the presence of Allah, the unseeable experience. This presence of Allah is not a vision matter. It's not something which we see. It's something that you feel and experience. If someone said to you, are you alone in the room? You would not be able to say, I'm alone. You would always say, there's no other human beings with me, or something like this. Because you don't believe you're alone. This person has forgot what loneliness feels like, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always with them. So these are the 4 preconditions, major preconditions to this journey, to the spiritual openings. Now, there is a gift to give you today, inshallah. So we will give you this gift, but I will take just, let's say, 1 or 2 questions, a few questions. I'm going to ask you to stretch, and then, inshallah, we will give you this gift. So, is there any questions at this point that anyone would like to ask about the topic that's been said? Yes, Brother Osman.
Just about the mind stage, about fighting the thought. Sometimes a person can get such evil thoughts that sometimes you think you've got no other choice but to fight it. Especially if you get certain thoughts about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Prophet is one's teacher. So what can we do if we can't fight it? Because there's been times where I've been praying and stuff, and I've got such evil thoughts where I have to shake my head, and I've got shake my head. I've had such evil thoughts. So what can I do if I can't fight it? If not.
So the answer's been given already, but just to show you that you're not the only one. Everyone goes through this, everybody. And even the companions radiallahu anhum went through this. There's a very famous hadith where the companions radiallahu anhum come to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and say, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we get such evil thoughts, we cannot even say what they are. Does that sound familiar? Because you just said you can't say what they are. Such evil thoughts that to say what they are would be embarrassing. I'd feel shameful to say what they are. I can't say what they are. What did the Prophet ﷺ say? He asked them, do you like them? And they answered, no, Ya Rasulullah ﷺ, we hate them, we hate them. And he ﷺ told them, to his meaning that is a sign of perfect faith. The fact that you hate these evil thoughts, that's a sign that you have perfect faith. Because you hate the evil shaitan's putting into you, or the nafs is putting into you, you're fighting them. It's a sign that you have perfect faith. Then he ﷺ gave them the solution. And he said, say, and remember this, his ﷺ saying say doesn't just mean say, it also means do. So when he said, then he said, say, amantu billahi wa rasulih, which means I believe in Allah and his messengers. So what does that mean? That means divert your attention to Allah Azza wa Jal and the prophets and messengers. And why messengers? Why did he ﷺ not say prophets? Because messengers means they came with a message. And what was the message? The Jannah, the Jahannam, the world of spirits, the world before, the Barzakh, death. So it means remember the message as well. And the message of the journey of man that we experienced before, that we went through. So the answer is remember Allah, or remember Azza wa Jal, or remember the messengers and the prophets, or remember the message that they came with. And even at a lower level, that was companions he ﷺ was speaking to. Companions, right? Very high level. So for them, that was the only thing that they wanted to think of. But even for us, even dunya, something else in dunya that you can think of. So if have evil thoughts of a program, then think of your wife, or think of your business, or think of work. Think of anything other than that thought. That's the solution. And seek refuge in Allah at that time as well. That, oh Allah, I seek your refuge, your help. So that's the solution, is in diverting. But you have to immerse yourself in something else. Yeah? Okay. Any other question?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Yeah. Oh, my question is that you said 4 conditions and you said something about certificate. I want to know a bit more about that. I didn't understand that. What certificate do you get a certificate after once you reach that level?
You get a certificate on the Day of Judgment, inshallah. So on the Day of Judgment, there is a real certificate that is given, and that certificate is the people of paradise are given it in their right hand. It's mentioned in the Holy Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they will be given it in their right hand, but the disbelievers, they will be given it in their left hand, but their left hand will be put through their stomachs, and then they'll receive it from the back. So they won't be like this. It'll be hit through their stomachs, and they'll be given it like that. Why through their backs? Because they don't want to see what it says. They so much don't want to see what it says that the angels will force their hand through their stomach and give it to them that way, and they'll take it out like this. But imagine the pain they had to go through. So that certificate is like this certificate, but this certificate in this world is the person that you become. If you become this person with these 4 objectives, which are on the screen in a second, inshallah, if you become this person, then that's the type of certificate you will get. In your right hand, person of Jannah, inshallah. Because these are the things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from you, and the Holy Prophet want from us. Prefer Allah, prefer the Holy Prophet, compassion on creation, and be in Allah's presence. If you become this person, then in the hereafter you receive this certificate. This is like a person finishes a degree. If you've done a degree, many of us have graduation day. Some of us don't go to graduation day. I didn't go to my graduation day because for me it didn't mean anything. And for some people it means something, that's fine. For me it didn't mean anything because the degree was what was important. The graduation day is a day just to celebrate receiving the certificate, which is fine. If you go on that day, remember the hereafter on that day. But if you go on that graduation day, what is the certificate if you haven't gone through the 4 years of the course? If you haven't done the course itself was the important thing. So these 4 preconditions of the body, mind, heart, and soul, completing that and being steadfast on that, you don't need to be given a certificate. Like many of us don't go to our graduation day, we never receive the certificate, it came in the post. So you don't receive the certificate, but you have the qualification. That's the difference. Certificate, it just resembles you have this qualification. But you have it, you've got the qualification. When you reach these 4 objectives, you have the qualification. You don't need the certificate. You can wait in the hereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give that to you there. Here, no one can give you a certificate. Why? Because if anyone says to you in this world, Allah is pleased with you, what have they done? They've made Allah's decision for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is not allowed. No one can do that. If anyone says Allah's permanent pleasure is upon you, then they are deciding for Allah, and no one can do that. If Allah is pleased with you, or you have any sign Allah is pleased with you, like a dream, a vision, this is temporal. If you change tomorrow, then that blessing, that good news is dissolved, is removed, it's gone. If you see the Holy Prophet ﷺ, but the second after you sin, as soon as the minor sin appears, or is committed, that blessing is gone now. That blessing is gone. So this is why abstaining from these minor sins and major sins, of course, is so most important. Then you can preserve the blessing that you receive. What point is it getting goodness and throwing it out the window, putting it in the fire? Would you go to work all night, come home, throw the money in the fire? Of course you wouldn't. So why spend 3 days here, do all this hard work, go home and swear at the family, the spouse, and put everything in the fire? It doesn't make sense. So what makes sense is preserve the good deeds, stop the bad ones, and then do more. So this, inshallah, now what I would like you to do is take a very short break, stretch, do wuzu, and then I'm going to give the gift, inshallah. Yes. No, I'm not going to give it. I'm just going to mention it. we'll break now till Asr. Take it. So brothers, just an announcement that, and inshallah you have a nice long break. Thank you to Ustad Sharlam. So you have a long break till Asr now, and inshallah the gift can be given to you after Asr. Jazakallah, subhanaka, Allahumma bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu
ilaik. The brothers who park their cars in the bottom car park, if they can bring them up to the mosque car park now, inshallah. So those brothers who park the cars in the car park, please bring them up to the mosque car park now.